Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I want to give a huge thank you to not only those who are here on this channel for the Worlds Collide stream, but also who was over on the Stash Club channel for the Money in the Bank stream. It was a huge Saturday, so thank you everyone for your endless support. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Today, I asked you for your hot takes in my YouTube's community tab. You delivered. I'm here to give them a yay or a boo. Yay means I agree. Boo means I disagree. It's nothing crazier than that. We'll dive right in. Before we get started, please leave your likes, leave your comments, turn the bell for notifications. I post pretty randomly on here. Follow me on everything. Everything's in the description. Check out Stash Club stuff after this video. Blah, blah, blah. All right, we'll get into it. The first one here. This says, Stephanie Vaquer is a future star in WWE. My respect went up a ton seeing her wrestle 3 matches in under 24 hours. Happy to see her getting a lot of TV time. This is a very loud yay. My only thing is, I don't know about future star at this point. I think she is a star, which that's not an actual disagreement. You know what I mean? Proving herself to be a workhorse. Not that you need to wrestle 3 times in a weekend, prove anything to people, but the fact that she I assume voluntarily did it, put on 3 bangers. What a great weekend for her. I love how she's immediately connected with the fans. WWE recognizing that, shooting her up to the top. I wouldn't have been surprised if she won Money in the Bank the other night. Obviously, she didn't, but there were a couple moments there where it's her 3rd match this weekend, the crowd loves her. Her and Rhea stare down was unbelievable. Why not give her the Money in the Bank? And she's already got a rocket strapped to her back. Why not dump some gasoline in that tank, you know? After this weekend, I hope she maybe gets some time off, at least a week vacation, because she deserves it, but she's on fire, and she is not only a current star in the WWE, but I agree with you, a future star, a long-lasting star, longevity on Stephanie Vaquer in this industry, and then WWE is goes on for miles. So yeah, very, very happy to see not only her performance, but the reception from fans of this weekend. And yeah, shout out Stephanie. That's great. So that's a yay. All right, this next one says, LA Knight has been over for over 1,000 days now, getting one of the loudest pops week after week. Makes 0 sense to give it to the 5 times world champion with the greatest manager and 2 future champs flanking him. Seth can get a title shot whenever he wants, briefcase or not. He was the one guy who didn't need it, and he still won. The clock is ticking with Knight. Feels like I'm back to being a Ziggler or Balor fan, waiting for something that's never going to happen. Quote, good things come to ... those who wait. Is that true or not? We don't know. Okay, I don't know what to give this, because I do appreciate your enthusiasm and your fandom for LA Knight, and I don't disagree that he is, very over, deserves something like a Money in the Bank briefcase, but I disagree about Seth. Yes, is it the easy answer, kind of obvious answer? He was the biggest star in the match by a mile. He's already a certified main eventer. Didn't really need it. I'm definitely not disagreeing he doesn't need it. However, I think people are overlooking, one, as a heel with the briefcase, as we've seen in the past. I mean, he's gonna knock it out of the park. 2, I think it adds a lot more stakes and a lot more interest to the faction that was already there, because his whole thing is he wants to take over the industry. His whole thing was, I'm gonna get the briefcase, it's gonna be that much more powerful, and I get to control everything and the fate of the champions and blah, blah, blah. Now, I agree with you. Everyone else would have been also a great pick, and I like the idea of Money in the Bank going to a mid-carder and elevating someone. While those are other good and maybe correct outcomes, I just don't think this is a wrong one, So I think I'm ultimately going to give you a yay for the sake of I do love when someone's just a fan and is rooting for someone, and I don't disagree that LA Knight should maybe be treated better just for his, his work in general, the fact that he's, pretty organically over with the fans. However, I do have to say, just because the person you were rooting for lost doesn't mean that other outcomes and stories are bad, Give it time. I think it's going to be really cool to see what he does with the faction. We might see him cash in on Monday with Gunther J. Who knows? But it's really icing on the cake for me with his whole, I'm taking over the industry, I'm so powerful. Now he's even that much more powerful. You're telling me he has Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, and the Money in the Bank briefcase? One, of course he was going to win it because he has this whole team behind him. And I think he needs that much more heel heat, because he definitely gets booed. I think he could have been more booed. So winning it over someone like a beloved LA Knight honestly gives to the heel heat, I think. All right, next one here says, Lyra and Becky was match of the night, even though the wrong woman won. Whoa, okay, you shoehorn some stuff in here. I'm gonna give this a yay, because I'm not someone who's just gonna disagree with someone and be like, hey, this is my favorite match of the night. I'm not gonna be like, boo, that's wrong. So this is a yay. I appreciate the fandom of it. Lyra Becky was probably my number 2. I'd probably go men's Money in the Bank, Lyra Becky, women's Money in the Bank, and then Dom and Octagon, and like the main event was fine. The main event I didn't love. The main event was kind of slow and boring up until that like last 5 minutes, and then plus the R-Truth return that we're going to talk about later. But Lyra and Becky did tear it down. The second half of the match, when things started to really pick up, was really good. I don't think the wrong woman won, though. A lot of people are giving Becky flack and like, oh, Becky Hogan and blah, blah. I don't know, man. I disagree. Lyra was the inaugural champion. She had it for a while. I don't think it's crazy to have a title change with two people who've been feuding for a while. For a while, excuse me. Lyra got some W's over her. We can move on to maybe, a Bayley return, Bayley inclusion. It also doesn't seem like the way this ended with, Lyra raising the hand and Becky being kind of a dick about it. It doesn't seem like this feud's over. Whether Lyra wins it back or not, I think we're going to kind of continue down this road. But I don't think it's bad for Becky to hold it. Not to discredit Lyra's stardom, but it's not crazy to say that Becky is just a bigger star. To have her hold the IC belt, I don't want to say solely elevates it, because Lyra did a great job at putting it on like a great pedestal. So I'm not saying like Becky's gonna bump, but I think it's a worthy challenger, competitor, person to hold the title. I don't really see anything wrong with it. Sure, would it have been a huge moment for Lyra, a big win of her career? Of course, sure, but like I'm kind of over the stereotypical thinking of just like, oh, like the younger new person needs to win. Like stars are stars, and stars are different ages, and stars are of different status, whether they're a veteran or they're a little newer, whatever. So like an established Becky Lynch, who is a former world champion, beating Lyra, who's the inaugural IC champion. This is her first belt on the main roster, losing to a Becky Lynch isn't the craziest thing in the world to me. However, to reiterate, yay in general, because this match did bang. All right, next one. All right, this person says, Chad Gable just became my all-time favorite wrestler today. His work has been exceptional all throughout the years that he just deserves to be that guy and hold a title one day. I hope it's soon. Chad honestly deserves it within the end of the year, I assume. Yeah, just like Stephanie Vaquer, Chad Gable, workhorse of the weekend. As much as like I don't love the El Grande stuff, I kind of am not as big of a fan of Chad Gable because of the El Grande stuff. It's kind of annoying. Not just like in kayfabe, but it's just like outside of kayfabe, it's just like stupid. But I'm not gonna get on that horse. Performance-wise, though, regardless of what shtick he's doing, whatever, to go with a banger, a match of the year contender in Vikingo, and then what? Maybe 3, maybe 4 hours later to be in this Money in the Bank match doing crazy. Like, he didn't take it easy in the Vikingo match, and he also didn't take it easy in this Money in the Bank match. So yeah, he is also, so this is a yay. He is also an MVP of this weekend. Let's just knock off the El Grande shit. I mean, like, be Chad Gable. We saw what you can do with Vikingo. You don't need to do this stupid El Grande shit. And maybe it's not his thing. I don't know. If it's Chad's, like, idea, then I'm kind of looking at him a little side-eyed, but, like, if it's just a thing of WWE and he's taking it in stride, making the best of it, and that's another thing. And it's a conversation we've been having. Maybe it kind of goes to unfortunately, the LA Knight, being compared to a Dolph Ziggler kind of take we talked about earlier. But yeah, Chad does deserve a title, does deserve a world title. Like, if they just lean into, like, how he wrestled with Vikingo, and if he can just be, like, a wrestler. He is just a wrestling machine. I know he's just a carbon copy of Kurt Angle, which I don't even love the fact they're just like, we're going to make him Kurt Angle and give him the you suck thing. I know it's paying homage, but I also think it takes a little bit of a way because he's not really his own person. However, it's helping him get over, and he hasn't really been doing that, beforehand. In terms of get over with WWE, not the fans. He's always been over with the fans, but like in terms of WWE putting him in this spotlight, you know what I mean? Okay. But yeah, MVP of the weekend, workhorse, 2 bangers and great performances, on both shows. So yeah, that's a yay. Moving on. Have we given out a boo? I don't know. I'm kind of in a good mood. I don't know if we're getting out any boost today. Moving on. All right, here we go. The title of the video. This says, R-Truth coming back wasn't a work. It was a pivot. I don't know why they're pretending it's not. This is a yay. We got a lot to talk about. Listen, first of all, who cares? And this is, I'm not speaking directly to this person that submitted it, because I do appreciate, I do kind of think they're right. But ultimately, just speaking in general now, past the hot take, who cares? It's crazy how people need to just be right, or feel like they weren't worked, or feel like they weren't tricked, or whatever. Like, God forbid you are watching a TV show and something happens that moves you. I don't know why there's so many people that are just like, no, I actually didn't feel anything. No, I wasn't surprised. I didn't feel anything. No, being surprised is for losers, and watching a TV show with any sort of investment or suspension of disbelief or losing yourself in the whimsy of it is for losers. I don't know why so many people are like that. Listen, if you believe Triple H in that press conference when the person asked him the question and he was like, "You enjoying the show?" It's all part of it. Like, okay, sure, great, good for you. And now there's like all these reports coming out, I guess, like, and who, sure, it could all, tinfoil hat on, it could all be part of the circus or whatever. But I guess like R-Truth's son posted on Instagram, like, stop the cap. Sean Ross Sapp has been like, reporting stuff about, or I don't know if you want to use the word reports, but just on Twitter saying stuff like, there's a lot of hoops they would need to go through in terms of also just like, talent morale and, what people were saying on Twitter. And I guess too, R-Truth just came out on Twitter and saying it's not a work, which again, tinfoil hat, I don't know. But, and again, have to reiterate, not that it like matters either way, but like, I would be shocked if it's a work. I'm convinced that it's, not a work. Notice I'm not saying anything definite because we don't know. No one knows except for like maybe a handful of people. But I'm pretty convinced it's not a work and that it was a pivot. So I'm giving this a yay. Because like, it is pretty evil to, well, also like, you also let go of Carlito and Valhalla, and those aren't part of the story, though, that those firings or whatever, those releases, I should say, are non-contract renewals. It is pretty evil to, it gets put out whether you want it to or not, or in the same sort of light you want to or not, come out that R-Truth wasn't getting his contract renewed. Then you see all the backlash and whatever, and you knew people would be upset. For that to like be the plan all along is, I don't know, kind of shitty, and I don't think they'd go to that length to do it. And again, hey, maybe I'm the egg on my face. Oh, you're wake up, sheeple. I don't know. I also like to think during times like this, like for people who like aren't chronically online and maybe didn't even see too much news about like R-Truth getting released, and they just like strictly casually watch the show week to week. R-Truth showing up here is such a natural and logical progression of the story being told from Saturday Night's Main Event, where like, R-Truth got kind of cheated out and got kicked in the nuts, and now R-Truth is coming back and beating up John Cena and getting revenge. Like in storyline, outside of like everything else that was reported or, the releases or the other happenings, like it just kind of makes sense. It seems like it could have just been like what they were going to do all along. However, I don't know. Listen, I'll move on from this, but just like, it's okay to be wrong, and you're allowed to be got, or you're allowed, whether, like I said, I don't think it was a work regardless. So like, it's, you're fine. But to kind of go to the end of this take, the reason that they're pretending it's not is because WWE does like to, it happened at WrestleMania 40, whether you want to believe that was a pivot or not. I'm more on the fence about that. Like, this is just a genuine like contract thing that they got a lot of backlash. I assume the decision was made from someone higher up at TKO. They didn't, realize the ramifications that would happen. And then WWE was like, hey, we gotta get this guy back. But WWE doesn't like to be, as much as I'm saying, they don't like to be wrong. They don't like to show their hand. Or they don't like to be like, oh, like this wasn't the plan. They like to seem like they're fully in control and they fully know, what the steps are 10 steps ahead, right? So like, they're not going to ever admit that like, hey, because of the backlash, we made a pivot. So they're going to die on that hill of just, this was our idea the whole time. We were going to release someone and cause all this uproar, especially in a time of, with people losing their jobs is not really a funny thing to joke about. And then we're going to, oh, it's all part of the story, brother. Like, there's no way. I spent too much time on this, but just to reiterate, to get out of here, I don't think it's a work. If you want to think it is, great. If you want to think it wasn't, also great. Like, as I'm saying my opinion, I also have to iterate. It doesn't matter. It's all a TV show, whatever. It's a little more shocking if you think it's a work. It's a little bit of trickery in your mind or whatever. It is almost like the same sort of people that are just like, oh, the sponsors are fine in the ring. The sponsors don't matter when they pull like the Fireball ladder or the Slim Jim table. Like, you've just been conditioned and brainwashed to enjoy ads and like ads, which like, hey, also in the same sense, great, good for you. I hope that's fun for you. So, all right, we'll move on. All part of the plan. All right, next one. After this weekend, Chad Gable deserves to win King of the Ring. It seems like it's going to be a fan battle between Chad Gable and LA Knight, but I think that's a great pick, especially as they announced the winner of King of the Ring gets a title match. It's a pretty good way to get Chad Gable that title match, regardless of who has it. I don't know. Is Seth going to have it at that point? Is it going to be Jay? Is it going to be Gunther? Is it going to be someone else? Is it going to be a different title? Is he going after Cena's title? Is Cody going to get at that point? I don't know. I don't think that's a crazy pick, but you do kind of handcuff yourself with that King of the Ring win of giving this person a world title match. And then Chad Gable's going to win King of the Ring. He's going to lose the world title match, and everyone's going to be mad. So, like, it's going to have a double-edged sword. I don't know if I see him actually winning it this year as much as he does deserve it. I just don't see the direction, but it's a yay, ultimately. I think that'd be sick. Again, Chad deserves the credit, for the in-ring work he's done all weekend. All right, so next one says, I don't understand why Sami Zayn was talking about how Seth Rollins couldn't be allowed to win the Money in the Bank, but he didn't do anything to stop his allies from interrupting the fight. Even CM Punk didn't show up. It seemed really strange to me after what had happened in the past few weeks. Yeah, I fully agree. This is a yay. We were talking about this on stream, how like you had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker show up, and then you have, Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo, and it's like, if we're already getting this overbooked, like overbooked in a good way, I'm not saying that was a bad way, I had a lot of fun, I think it made the match even better, but if you're getting all these people running in and whatever, like the best way to like kind of clear that out or whatever is getting a CM Punk and Sami Zayn involved, run down, big pop, it makes sense to the story, and ultimately, like, yes, those 4 guys like interrupting the match did like come into play, but it wasn't like the tail end the match, you know what I mean? Like they kind of came in and then they kind of like went away, and there was like a few more minutes in the match for things to kind of like, figure itself out, and LA Knight got back in and Andrade and like whatever. So since those interruptions didn't have a direct last minute like causation end to the match, you could have had CM Punk and Sami like run in and then everyone leaves, clears out, and they do their next like 4 or 5 minutes to finish the match. But yeah, I agree. I don't have much else to say about it other than I also think it was weird, so this is getting a yay. This one says, Seth was the right choice to win Money in the Bank, and Seth did help me with him winning, helped me win the SCW briefcase, which means I can cash in on Jimmy for that title, or for, I should say, to make a title match, and then I can freeze the wager and blah, blah, blah. So let's just, for the sake of, let's just see. Okay, let's see. Put that over there. It's just kind of, this one's getting a yay. Interesting. I didn't know that was in there. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for Yays and Boos. Please, if there's some hot takes or comments or whatever you want to leave, please leave those. Leave a like, turn off notifications. Please subscribe. We're creeping up on 10K here. It's a great time. Check out Stash Club stuff after this. If you want to watch back the stream, any of the streams, the Worlds Collide stream is on here. Money in the Bank stream is over on the Stash Club channel. Thank you to everyone who submitted a hot take today. I really appreciate all the support and blah, blah, blah. I'll see you all week on both channels and whatever. And thanks for being here. All right, bye, 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 bye.